Today is our final day in building your foundation for selling success. To be sure that you're fully caught up, we've provided links below to the first 2 sessions. Point number 1 was understanding your real job description, which isn't selling, but rather helping people decide, connecting with them, and properly qualifying and sorting them by priority. Point number 2 was on the 3 C's of positioning: confidence, not convincing, and control. And our final aspect to building your foundation for selling success, and this is where most of the magic to becoming influential and persuasive in selling emanates from, and that is approaching it all with the right mindset. There are 4 points to having the right mindset in selling. The first is having the right intention. You are selling to human beings who have desires, wants, needs, fears, feelings, ambitions. It's oh too easy to get lost in the grind of running all the numbers and forgetting this important point. I confess this myself inside the pages of the Entrepreneur Rollercoaster book. In my selling real estate days, I would occasionally meet with a man who became an influential mentor to me in the industry. This man was the most skilled salesperson that I knew at the time, and I wanted to always hear anything he had to say. So one day we met for lunch, and I expressed my frustration with my latest sales numbers. They just weren't where I know they could be, and I couldn't figure out why. He asked, "Well, let me see your prospect list." And I pulled out a file and I pushed it across the table at him. At the top, in thick black marker, I had written "hit list." He raised an eyebrow, pushed the folder right back to me, and he said, "Well, I can see your problem." "What's that?" I asked. Did I not have enough prospects? Was it not enough of the right type of prospects? What was it? He said, "No one wants to be your next hit, Darren. When you label them that way, you think of them that way. And when you think of people that way, you treat them that way. They know it and can feel it. They can tell." I didn't have the wrong prospects. I had the wrong mindset, which transmitted the whole message. I should have been focusing on how I was going to help them, their family, their financial situation, getting their kids into better schools, moving into a better neighborhood, getting that dream home that they've always wanted, and then easing their worries, their fears, and their anxieties, not seeing them as my next hit. Do you see the distinction? The second part of having the right mindset is expectation. One of my mentors, Paul J. Meyer, one of the greatest salespeople who ever lived. No one has sold more personal development material than he did, more than 2 billion worldwide. He explained to me that before he walked into any sales call, he would imagine that there was a big red carpet rolled out in front of their door in his honor. And he'd see trumpeters and dancing girls hired just to celebrate his arrival. He'd imagine the client enthusiastically greeting him as if he were their once lost son, returning home from the war. He'd see them sitting across the kitchen table, excited and eager to buy what he had to offer them. He'd imagine them welled up with tears in their eyes and hugging him with deep gratitude because his solution was so meaningful and vital to their family. And as he said, because he imagined and believed it during the actual meeting, he acted accordingly. And then, because he was acting accordingly, they responded in kind. What you expect to create is what you end up creating. So what are you expecting when you pick up the phone for a sales call? Are you expecting them to be difficult or to say no immediately? If so, they will. If you're expecting them to be excited and happy to hear from you, then that will transmit and you'll have a much better chance at receiving that response. Whatever we're thinking about is what comes about. Good or bad, our thoughts have a powerful effect on our lives. The third aspect of mindset is to be friendly. I know this sounds obvious and ridiculous that I would have to point this out, but you've received those phone calls, the ones from salespeople who don't even sound real. They are so robotic. If you're like me, you just hang up immediately. Why? Because if they don't care to be friendly, we certainly don't feel compelled to be friendly back. We are all human beings. We want to hear a friendly voice. We only trust those we deem friendly. Remember, people buy from people they like. So remember to be likable. The fourth and final part of having the right mindset is to be firm. You can be both friendly and firm, particularly if you have the right expectation in your head and the right intention in your heart. Every time I think about this point, I always remember an attorney that I had to deal with many eons ago when I sold a business to the before mentioned mentor, Paul J. Meyer. Steve Bright was his name. He was Texas friendly. If you ever met somebody from the inner sanctum of Texas, you know what I mean. He was one of those guys who greet you with a bright smile, extend one hand to greet you and have the other hand on their holster. Not really, but kind of feels like that. Steve was always calm, disturbingly calm. The kind of guy who can look you deadpan in the eye without shifting his gaze. In as few words as possible, he'd tell you what was going to happen. If you countered, he would maintain that perfect eye contact, flawlessly friendly smile, and say, "No. That's it. Nothing further. Just no." How do you even react to that? You don't. Your whole system just ends up involuntarily saying, okay. The key here is that firmness has to be accompanied by friendliness. You can't just be firm. That makes you a jerk. Friendliness without firmness makes you flighty. But friendliness with firmness, that's hard to resist. So there you have it. All 3 points to build your foundation for selling success. To work on what you picked up today, which of these mindsets do you need to work on the most? 1, having the right intentions in your heart to help versus sell before you even start. Having the right expectations in your head about how you will be received and how it will go. 3, is it bringing in more of your humanness and being more friendly in your sales exchanges? Or 4, is it being friendly and firm, being more unwavering in your conviction and position? Tell us which in the comments below.